Good morning. We're taking a break from the politicians and the policy this week to kick back and talk politics with an astute political analyst in his own right, the voice of Morning Drive here on our sister station, WBZ News Radio 1030, Joe Mathieu.
Good morning.
This is Good Morning. This is indeed what he looks like.
Indeed. Thanks for still having me on.
It's always great to have you by here. We really appreciate it. Now, due to vacation schedules, we are taping this on the day of the first official Republican presidential candidates debate, of course, featuring the inimitable Donald Trump. So while we can't comment on that event because we haven't seen it yet, although that might not necessarily stop us.
Right.
I would like your take, Joe, on what Trump's rise and summer-long run atop the polls says about the Republican Party and the mood of at least that slice of the public.
Well, it's interesting because for a man who is frequently referred to as a front-runner, and he is in the polls, you could argue that he's the front-runner because there's no front-runner. It reinforces the fact that no one else is rising to the top. Interesting, this week in the CBS News New York Times poll that you reported on here on WBZ, one number really stuck out. 79% said they like Donald Trump because he says what he believes, and he believes what he says, suggesting people just don't trust and don't like politicians. He's the anti-politician.
Well, I mean, no big surprise here. We've been talking about
But no one's capitalized on it quite like this.
Yeah. Well, he's free to do so because is it fair to say that he doesn't expect to become president? He probably doesn't want to be president. So, therefore, he's free to just let it rip and have fun and garner this unbelievable publicity windfall.
Freedom is a very powerful thing in politics, to say whatever you want, and that is why he is appealing on such a grand scale. Does he actually have visions of himself in the White House? Probably not. But one thing that we do know about Donald Trump is that all of the pundits and prognosticators in the political circles have been wrong about him every stage of the way. And I've been guilty of that at times, too. I didn't think he'd put up his financials. I didn't think he'd really launch a campaign. But here we are in this bizarre reality TV show that is American politics.
Well, you know, for all of the anti-Washington sentiment of the last few decades, really, I mean, if you can go back 30 years and we could be having the same conversation about the public mood. Actually, it's really an old American tradition to dump on Washington. For all of that, we've had 3 two-term presidents in a row, and a steady parade of mainstream party figures winning the nomination, while insurgent outsiders wind up being marginalized. I'm thinking Ross Perot. I mean, you could argue maybe Barack Obama was a little bit different from the mainstream, but he was a sitting U.S. senator who had come up through the ranks. Doesn't that all suggest that, in the end, the Trump flirtation has a shelf life?
Yes, it is the classic early season candidacy, early season phenomenon. If you look at the people who've won the Iowa caucuses in many cases, and even the New Hampshire primary, even at that stage of the campaign, it's often too early to figure out who is doing what. Look, it's summer. People are on the beach right now. People aren't really paying attention to politics a lot. And it's the silly season, as they say. You can get away with a lot this early stage of the cycle before people start drilling down. Give me one policy that Donald Trump has offered other than building a wall and having Mexico pay for it, right? He says, we'll replace Obamacare with something spectacular. But what is that thing?
Obamacare, which he once supported.
That's correct. And we also learned this week that Bill Clinton actually spoke with Donald Trump. He consulted the former president about politics before he jumped into the race. Bill Clinton encouraged him to run.
Boy, I wish I'd been a fly on the wall for that one. And you know, we've got a break, but you raised an important question when you talk about people being on the beach. Why aren't you and I on the beach?
Can we go?
Let's think about that, and we'll get back to that when we come back from this break. Our guest, Joe Mathieu of WBZ News Radio 1030, and our conversation will continue in a moment, so please stay with us. Welcome back. We're engaging in some water cooler talk with our pal Joe Mathieu, the voice of mornings on WBZ News Radio 1030. Joe, as we're taping this segment on Thursday morning, Governor Baker was signing the bill declaring next weekend, the 15th and 16th, as the annual sales tax-free shopping weekend here in Massachusetts. Very popular tradition in recent years. Doesn't the enduring popularity of that weekend, which is openly derided by critics as a gimmick that siphons needed funds away from the state budget, Doesn't that speak to the depth of anti-tax sentiment in the state?
Oh, I think so, because most will agree that it doesn't create new money, it just moves money around.
You would spend it otherwise.
We were going to buy it on Labor Day, but we'll do it now.
Right.
And of course, then all the businesses have their month-long, and they extend the thing and do their own promotions surrounding it. But yeah, it speaks to the whole Taxachusetts sort of feel here in Massachusetts and the anti-tax sentiment that has grown. Even the Democratic Speaker of the House has made clear many times there'll be no new taxes in the budget. I find it ironic, though, that on this week we're also seeing paperwork filed to legalize marijuana on the promise of additional tax dollars.
Why do you find it ironic?
Well, because, as you're suggesting, we are allergic to taxes, yet the main argument to make marijuana legal in this state is a tax windfall.
Well, clearly people will pay taxes if they think they're getting something that they wanted. But all this anti-tax sentiment hasn't stopped the pro-tax movement in Massachusetts from trying yet again for I believe it's the 5th time since the early 60s, to amend the state constitution to allow a graduated income tax. Right now, everyone, no matter how much you make, you pay the same flat rate. Obviously, you pay more if you make more, but the rate you pay is the same. Barbara Anderson of Citizens for Limited Taxation wrote this week in response to them starting this up again. Why would such targeted victims, the higher income brackets, submit to this abuse instead of simply packing up and escaping to a lower or no income tax state like, say, New Hampshire?
Yeah.
That is the dilemma, isn't it?
Absolutely, and we've seen a lot of people move to New Hampshire for that very same reason. It may not have legs. I mean, think back to gas indexing. Anybody remember that?
Last fall.
Last fall, to pay for infrastructure that we needed so badly, even that wouldn't pass because people have so little appetite to pay more taxes in Massachusetts.
Yeah, not to mention the election last fall of an anti-tax governor.
That's right.
Yeah. Very interesting. Joe, thanks a lot for joining us.
It's great to see you.
Really appreciate it.
Brought the water cooler.
I'll see you in the hallway later.
Pop your popcorn for the big debate.
Yeah, don't take all the water. Leave some for me.
Very good.
Joe Mathieu,
Thanks, John.
Thank you. WBZ News Radio 1030. That's it for me. Now, back to my colleagues for more WBZ News.